Hi, this is Cicely and welcome to my room. So I am a law student, if you don't regularly watch this channel, and I knew that I would be doing an internship remotely from home this summer, so I decided that I would redo my bedroom. And honestly, I can say it turned out so much better than I even could have hoped for. But yeah, I am going to jump right in and I'll tell you a little bit about the process and then kind of like the final result, which is behind me, and just go into the details of what I picked and why. So from the beginning of this process, I knew that I would be starting basically from bare bones. Everything was coming out. The floor came out, the ceiling came off. Well, not the ceiling, but like the popcorn ceiling was scraped off or scraped over at least. And basically all of like the outlets, the lighting fixtures, the wallpaper and paint, like layers of paint, because this is a pretty old house, came off the walls. And it was long. It took longer than I thought it would. I thought that I could do that in a couple of weekends, and I was very wrong. Between interning and just like seeing friends and stuff while I was at home, it did take more like a month, which is fine, but it meant that I got a slower start to the fun part, which is putting things back together and finally decorating. I am going to walk through that process, and then if you want to see more of the room in total, stick around to the end. So I started by just taking all of the wallpaper off, and this was wallpaper under a layer of paint, which was tough. And this was my childhood bedroom, so it was a very pale pink over the wallpaper. The wallpaper had just been really hard to take off, so we painted over it, but now it was peeling because of age and things like that, so everything needed to come off, including the like other 2 layers of paint underneath the wallpaper. This house was built in like the 70s. It's like pretty much a 70s ranch style house, and yeah, nobody had taken everything off before, so that was the first step. And then a good clean, sanding, kind of trying to get the walls back smooth, and putting on a layer of just like a ceiling primer just to make sure that all the paint just didn't get sucked up into the wall. I've put plaster and like putty and filled any holes and stuff like that, and sanded the walls, sanded the plaster, also sanded the parts of the wall that were drywall that like tore like up here to make sure it's like nice and smooth. And now I'm going to paint. Like the floor looks crazy. It's like covered with a fine layer of dust, but I'm gonna seal it with like a sealing primer. So I have these covered, and then go back to work for the day. From there, the next step was just like removing the flooring. We removed all of the carpet that was just like years and years old and just had like, I don't know, you know how carpet can kind of get gross after a while. So we ripped all of that out and then had just the concrete down for the rest of the work being done. So I myself just like did 2 layers of like this joint compound material, which is like kind of like a putty that takes a long time to dry, and put that all over the ceiling. If I wanted it to be smoother, I probably would have done another layer or 2, but that was back breaking work and I was fine with some texture. So I just didn't want popcorn ceilings. And I did that because the ceilings and popcorn ceilings from that time probably have asbestos in it. So it just seemed better than scraping it off, because I would need to like either get special materials or have people come in and do that. Okay, so it's a Saturday morning. We are in my room and like it's pretty empty. Sorry if it's echoey. There's like, just show you. You've seen this. The walls are done. They're kind of like sealed. And then now there's no floor. We actually considered doing one of those like concrete painting things before we realized that like there was paint and like the under like cushion or like whatever had also stained some parts. So definitely still putting the flooring down, which we already have, so that's fine. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to attempt to skim coat the popcorn ceiling. So wish me luck.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, really wanna know.
After doing the ceiling, I could finally kind of get to work on painting and things like that. It's been like 2 weeks since I started this, and this is gonna have to be good enough. I went and visited a friend during the process, but that's done. So now in the same t-shirt that I keep recycling, I am about to start priming the walls and the ceiling. And that drives about like 45 minutes. Like it started to touch in like 20 and then dry enough to paint again in 45. So I'm gonna prime and then either wait like an hour, and then the cats are always trying to get in this room. Wait for an hour and then do something. It's like 9, so it's kind of late. And I will either do a coat of paint or I will do it in the morning, and then I'll need another coat after that, and then I'll do trim and stuff like that. So lots of painting, but it's good to be a painting because that's like we are done tearing down, fixing, cleaning. Well, I mean, not cleaning, I mean, still cleaning in some parts, but like it's building now.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling.
So I just finished with work for today and I'm back in this room. I got done pretty late last night, and so I just did the primer coat, and it already looks so much better. Like I'm painting this room white anyway, so like the white is a different shade, but it's still kind of close to what it will be. Part of what took me so long is that I just didn't have a good system going, and it got a lot faster as I figured out a system, like because I always have to do edges and things. I didn't do the trim just because like it's already like light enough that I don't mind painting over it, and it's gonna go in a gloss, so it, like, and have 2 or 3 layers, so it was fine. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to paint the edges, and then I'm going to paint the ceiling. I only painted one part last night that had a little bit of water damage. But yeah, I'm gonna paint the ceiling after I do like all of this area around and probably like around the doors, and then I'm gonna paint the walls. And once I do a coat of that, I will probably work on some molding stuff. I don't know. Maybe work on the baseboards, although that's gonna be in satin finish and this will be matte, so like I'm not using the same paint. So, but I don't think it'll be the end of the world if a little bit of this gets on it during the second coating, because I'll put another coat on top. I am trying not to be too picky about this because I'm just trying to get it done. Okay, so we've got this room painted white, and very honestly, there was a point last night where it was looking so warm and almost pink toned, and that's because of the cool tones of the primer. But now that it's just paint, it looks, or like the white paint, it looks much more like white, like normal white. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to, I promise there's a corner right here, just doesn't look like that. We're going to map out molding, and then we are going to cut the molding actually, so hopefully, and then paint it. I have no idea how much that's. I look terrible in my paint clothes again, but anyway, we're going to map out the molding with blue tape, and then I'm going to, I've already like measured walls and stuff to see what I think it'll be. But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then I'm going to cut the molding and then paint it, and then paint the trim. I don't know if this will happen all tonight, sometime tomorrow night, the next night, but like these are my next steps. This is me giving up and deciding to be lazy. Wish me luck. So I painted the walls, and then while those were drying, in the meantime, I got molding. In my head, I just envisioned having at least a wall of molding. Originally, in the back, I wanted bookshelves just on either side of my bed, but the process for doing that would have just been either a lot of work to make them or trying to get them from IKEA, and they were super backward, so it just seemed like a better plan to just do more molding around the room, and I really do like it. But yeah, so installing that molding took time for me, measuring, planning out what was going on the walls, where, and then cutting and painting. And so like I would paint the walls overall and then do the molding just kind of like while that was drying and stuff. So I did that, got all the molding installed, sealed everything, all of like the little crevices that are between the molding and the wall. And this project, like actually a few projects, required me to learn how to use a nail gun. I use an air compression one, and it was kind of scary to me, but I figured it out, and I'm glad that I did it because everything is super secure now. But yeah, secured the molding, everything was painted, and then got flooring put down, and we could finally like start moving everything in. So with that, we have a pretty still bare bones room, but just looks really light and fresh and clean, and it was a blank slate for me. Planning for this room, before starting anything, I created kind of a design board of every kind of part of the room, and if you look at it, you can see how much this room turned out the way that I planned. And yeah, so I think with that, I will just kind of like walk through the design details. So this room has dark floors and white walls. I wanted that. I wanted a really good mix of both pretty traditional, slightly ornate traditional, but then also some slightly more modern and even leaning modern glam pieces. And so I wanted, with everything, the base to be pretty traditional and slightly ornate, because I feel like that's kind of like how I am at my base, at my core. That's what I like, what I keep coming back to, and anything else can kind of be switched in and out. But I wanted like the molding on the walls, the white color being neutral dark floors. And so that's why I stuck with that for the like core details, and then everything else I kind of decided, do I think this will be better to be more plain or more ornate? Do I think it'll be better to be a little bit more modern or be a little bit more traditional? And yeah, so my headboard was a headboard that I've had for years. I got it from Wayfair. I will try to link it if I can, but it is super old at this point, and it is just a gray tufted headboard. And it's really nice because it's just the headboard piece. It's not like a part of a bed frame. Originally, I thought I wanted a green velvet bed, but that, after the fact, deciding that I didn't want to do like the shipping and things like that, and like the cost was just going to be a lot, I decided, or not a lot, the cost was just kind of more than I wanted to spend. I realized that having a super traditional headboard that I wouldn't get tired of is probably the better choice in a neutral color. And I'm really happy that I did that, because it just kind of just fits in without being like a standout piece and doesn't detract from some of the showier things in the room. But yeah, so the headboard is from Wayfair, like I mentioned, and then my side tables are more modern traditional, or my nightstands are actually a little bit more modern glam. And I kind of decided that I just wanted once I realized I couldn't have bookshelves, I wanted bedside tables that were wood, and particularly burl wood, and those can get so expensive. And I was just on Instagram, I followed an account called Follow the Find, and they posted these, and I was like, those look like burl wood. Those look affordable. And I initially kind of wanted a slightly darker wood, but this look, I feel like, balances a lot of the darker elements of the room. I know the walls are white, but like the floor and the other furniture and some things are darker, and I wanted a light and bright room. So I really like them. They're actually, I think they're dressers technically and not nightstands, and they are a dupe of like probably like a $3,000 dresser, and these were about $300 each. So yeah, and even like pricing wise, I think I saw these some places for like $500 and $600 and stuff like that, and I managed to get them relatively cheap. I did them over the 4th of July weekend, so I got even more of a discount, and so I'm really proud of this find because I know especially that there is a really high-end version of them and they look just as good to me. So I have a cedar chest underneath the window. It's chipped. I will probably fix it at some point, but it's kind of a family item, and I just kind of wanted an interesting wood element. It's good for storage, and the most important thing is that it's under the window so that the cats can get in it. That was just the most important part, because before there had been a table under that window that they would sit on, and this way they can sit on the chest and look out, and they can also use it to get in the window easier. So that was important to me. It's nice. It just has like little pillows on it, and one is the pillow that I had. Another is a pillow that I got from Cherish, and it's just this nasty woman because that is the mood that I'm still in. And then the other major piece of furniture was or is a black dresser. This is another item that I just kind of had a really specific thing in mind. I wanted something with gold knobs, which I could paint, in a round shape that you could pull, slightly ornate, definitely like a solid black. And there was this dresser on Anthropologie that was beautiful. In retrospect, probably a little bit long for my space, but it was again like $2,000 or $3,000. The dresser that I do have is actually a kid's dresser, and it is perfect in size because it's still tall. It's not like super, super wide. And like if the one from Anthropologie was like $2,000 or $3,000, this was only like maybe 500 tops, but I think it's more like $300 or $400, and worth it. The thing about when I come home is that I'm usually bringing a lot of stuff, and so having space to actually store my stuff. Also, this room is like, I was gonna say a working room. It's not exactly that, but it still has a lot of my stuff in it because I don't have like a home of my own. This is still my home. So yeah, it's great, and it's great for putting my TV on. It has just little knickknacks and stuff, but it was the look that I was going for. I really wanted to balance out, once I decided I was doing the light burl wood dressers and white walls and like probably a white bed, which I did end up doing. Wanted like a substantial piece and black or dark wood, but black is what I went with. Okay, going around my room a little bit, I would say for all of the different plates and things, I just got antiqued brass. For different websites that meant different things, and so the actual plates for outlets are a little bit darker, but I don't mind. They're still like a brassy color. I tried to stick to just like brushed brass and brushed gold with a little bit, in some cases for the light fixture, not brushed gold, but still like a gold color, and kind of keep it in warmer goldy brassy colors. And the plate for the light switch, I went super ornate. It's kind of called a fleur-de-lis, an antiqued brass, and I love it. It's so pretty. It's just like a really nice detail, especially since it's so visible on the wall. And then for the doorknobs for both my room and the closet, I have another kind of like antique looking brass and a very similar shape to the plates for like the outlets and things like that, and the shape similar and somewhat to the shape of my mirror. And yeah, it's like that with like a kind of cut glass crystal looking handle. It's just super pretty, super ornate, honestly, and I wanted something super girly and ornate, and I like it. And speaking of that kind of like crystal type of gold or brass look, I also did that for the light fixture. It's actually probably like more of like a chandelier than a normal bedroom fixture. And I did give up a ceiling fan for that, but I can always have a fan on my like nightstand and at night and keep it pretty cool in the house, so I didn't worry about overheating. So pretty. It is even better than I thought it would be, and it is kind of, it's a gold, not really brushed like the rest except for the base is a little bit, with like more like crystal looking ends or making the chandelier, and it's very organic looking. Like it looks kind of flowery. It's not like carved or anything. It's just the way that they've shaped these different metal pieces with the little crystal at the end. Just super pretty, and I think it fits really well. And I think it's just kind of like a statement piece for the room. Okay, and then I think that brings me to my mirror. I really wanted a mirror for this room just because like I like mirrors most places. I have one in my studio at school, and having one in my room is great for just kind of checking your outfit before you leave. It brings in more light, especially because this one is right across from the window, and it just like more bright and light addition to the room. So my mirror is from IKEA, and it's a new line of theirs. It's, I would say, a little bit Art Deco, and I like that it has like the, I don't know if it's beveled edges, but I like that it kind of matches the plates and things that I have for the outlets and also the door handles. So it was just pretty, and it fits kind of like that gold theme. And then on my dresser, I just have a calendar. I eventually kind of think I want to frame some of the pictures in the calendar, but I didn't have time, and it is the calendar for this year, so I just kind of put it out there, and it's on a really pretty picture of a cat, and they're all cat paintings or pieces of art that are based off of like really famous pieces of art. So you'll have like the farmer and his wife as cats and things like that. And a candle from Target that was on sale. It smells really good, so I don't know why it was on sale, but I was happy to pay under $5 for it. And then on the wall with my dresser behind the chair, I have a piece of art. I've had it for a while. I've had it for probably like 3 or 4 years now, and it is a map of Washington, D.C., and I did that. D.C. isn't where I want to live or where I want to end up or anything like that, but I have interned there twice in person and once remotely, so it's just kind of like a important reminder of kind of like where I've been and things that are important to me, like public service. The chair itself that's underneath that picture is from West Elm. It's actually a chair that I got for a dining table that I had with like a bench on the other side. Eventually I got other chairs to go with that table, and this was just kind of a chair on its own. So this chair has followed me to many bedrooms since I've replaced, and even sometimes when it was a dining chair it would end up in my bedroom, so it's just nice. I think it is like this exact shape or fabric at least is not being sold right now, but I will link something similar from West Elm or this exact one if I can find it, but I have looked before. And yeah, so, and then I think we will continue the art conversation. I have a really big kind of like golden tan abstract, slightly organic painting, and that is just something I picked up at like TJ Maxx or something. I may have had it in college. It's followed me around a lot, and for the past year it's just been at home in my closet, and I just figured a nice big statement piece. It's kind of in the color scheme of the metallics I'm doing, so I put it up. I really like it. It straddles the molding a little bit, and I think it's like a really cool and more modern way to hang art with a really traditional wall look. So yeah, it'll probably stay. And then continuing with the art on either side of my bed on the nightstands, instead of doing like one piece of art in the middle, which I still may put something above my bed in the middle, but instead of doing art I got two more medium, maybe medium to large size pictures. They're paired, not exactly matching but of the same theme. I got these from Cherish. I said I got the pillow from Cherish. I got that from Forever Studio, and the art from Cherish. And yeah, they're just like, they almost look like more like kind of abstract kids art, and they're just fun, really nice pops of color, a little bit florally. I didn't want something super traditional with art because I was doing like so much ornate molding and things like that. Actually, I usually go for more traditional pieces, something that looks like portraits and things like that, or like landscapes. But because there were so many features in this room that were traditional, I wanted something more contemporary. I keep saying modern, and I think I mean contemporary. But yeah, so those really pretty pieces, and I think there's still prints in this collection for sale, so I will link those, of course. And then I just have, oh, well, I also have matching lamps on each side, and the story for these lamps are that I initially thought I was going to put wall sconces, and I realized that the ones I had ordered required you still wiring them, like not into the wall but into the back of it, and there wasn't a plate to just like command strip them to the wall, so I did not want to do that much work. So I just wanted to get some lamps that were kind of a similar price, but lamps are decently pricey. And I knew I wanted more of a traditional shape for a lamp, but maybe be a little bit more fun with kind of like the actual colors and things like that. So I thought about getting like a bright color, but then it's beside that bright colored art. And so when I found this marble or marbleized glass lamp, I was like, this is interesting, but not too much of a statement on its own. So I got those lamps, and I saw them somewhere. I think I saw them a few places, and they were about $125 to $150, and that was like for the set, and then about like $60 to $75 individually. And these lamps, I got them for $70 as a set, and I was just like, how did I get so lucky? There's just one place selling them, and that was Home Depot. So I will link them. And it's just it was so crazy. It just didn't even seem possible. Like the box came in such a slim box, the way they have it packed, that I thought, oh, there's only one lamp here. That was the thing. But no, there were two in there. So I just lucked out and got exactly kind of what I was looking for. It always just feels nice to get the look or the exact item that you were aiming for, but at like a much lower price. That is like goals for me. And then finally, I just have some knickknacks on either side of the bed. I have some books. I have like a Whiskey in a Teacup book from Reese Witherspoon, another type of book. These are all like Target / Anthropology coffee table books. And I have like an Hermes drawing book that was, I paid a little bit more than I should have because I got it from a small business versus online, which like supports small businesses, but also I paid not quite twice the price, and that hurt a little bit, but I got it. It's very pretty. And then on it I have stacked some glass like bottles, and these are from like the Target $5 section, so I don't think you could find them because it's been a few years, but like there's always things like that in there. And then a Target Opal House Jungalow piece, and it's just like a jewelry or knickknack holder with like a jeweled top. And then on the other side I just have another candle. I think that's an Opal House candle too, and it's just aesthetically fitting with what I've been doing. So I have that. It's just also kind of like a counterpoint to the lamp. So yeah, it's just building knickknacks. I don't need a whole bunch in this room, but I don't want it to look empty, so just kind of putting things in. Some things are items that I left behind when I went to school because there's just only so much room, and then picking up a few pieces. So it's a nice mix and match of old and new, or at least already owned and new. And yeah, so like bedding is generally from a mix of Amazon and IKEA, and that goes for like the pillows, the duvet insert, and I pretty much always get sheets from Target and pillowcases. There are definitely still things to do, like I mentioned, the cat photo framed collage wall, and I'm sure I'll keep adding things. I'll leave books behind, probably get new blankets and sheets across time as I come home and leave and come home again. But I just wanted to share the progress that I made this summer. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's nice to have a cozy, more adult room to come home to, especially like now that I'm back in school and this is my home base for a while. Thank you for watching. I can't say that I make videos like this all the time, but I do stuff in my studio relatively frequently, so there may be more to come. But I appreciate you staying this long watching the video, so if you liked it, liked hearing my ideas and my thoughts and all of that process, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Even if the sky is falling down,